Hello and welcome to the Ridiculously Good VA Show with Tracy Daviero. If you are a virtual assistant or want to be one, this is the place to learn the tips and tricks you need to become a ridiculously good VA. I've been a part of the VA industry since 1998, and I'm excited to get to know you and help you build an amazing business. Let's go. Hello, it's Tracy Daviero. Welcome to the very first episode of my podcast, The Ridiculously Good VA Show. Where we will teach you how to become a ridiculously good virtual assistant. I wanted to start our first episode with mindset because I think it's just so important. When we are doing things that we have never done before, there can be a lot of uncertainty, and I think sometimes we get into our own heads just a little too much. And so I wanted to start with getting out of your comfort zone, which is what we're going to talk about today. I also love to start my trainings with a quote, something that will sort of anchor us and really let us think about what it is that we want to learn and why we want to learn it. And today's quote is from John Assaraf, who is a mindset expert. And he says, "A comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there." I love this quote because I do believe that it's easy to stay in your comfort zone with pretty much anything, but especially with business. And so it is really important to learn how you can help yourself move out of what is comfortable so that you can actually grow and build. And it's difficult. Sometimes we need a little push to do that. And so I want to just give you a few tips around how to do that today. Your comfort zone is comfortable, but you are not moving when you stay there. You are not growing. Being in your comfort zone means doing things that don't feel, don't make you feel anxious or don't scare you. But getting out of your comfort zone is not about doing scary things. It's about giving yourself the tools that you need to push forward, doing the things that you know you need to be doing without being scared. And that is a habit that you have to build. We have to realize that doing the same thing every day is going to yield the same results. And it's really important to build the things that you need within your business so that you can get to where you have not been before. And yes, that's going to be outside of your comfort zone sometimes, but when something becomes uncomfortable, that's when you know that that's when you are growing. That's when your growth is coming. What do you need to do to get out of your comfort zone? Now, we can make a really good case for the fact that we don't want to feel uncomfortable every day. I certainly don't. I'm sure you don't either. But we know whenever it is time to make a decision or get some help and that type of thing, when you really want something outside of your comfort zone, it feels uncomfortable, right? So you can recognize those times when you're going to need to push through something. But that is your sign that it is time for you to get moving. And without taking any kind of action, you're going to stay exactly where you are. And I don't know about you, but I want more clients. I want to earn more money. I want to be more successful. And that takes action. Every single day, that takes action. And sometimes it's uncomfortable action. But the good news is that lots of times, at least in my experience, lots of times, the more you do something, the more you build up that muscle, or the more you practice doing something, the better you get at it. Think about whenever you first started doing any task that you are currently doing in your virtual assistant business right now. Maybe you weren't that great at it when you first started out, but then you got the hang of it, right? You got faster, you got better, you got maybe more efficient, you got more skilled at it, and it's exactly the same thing with helping you move to where you need to be in your business. So what do you need to do to get out of that comfort zone? You need to first of all know where you want to go. Without knowing the end goal of what it is you're trying to accomplish, then you can't really develop a plan. And so you need to know where you want to go. Be very definitive about that. You also need to know what you need to do to get there. And this is something that a lot of VAs struggle with because of course, if we haven't been someplace before, how do we know how to get there? Well, I will tell you a lot of different times on this podcast, Google is your friend. Your VA colleagues are your friends. Ask questions and make sure that you are getting the answers that you need to help you move forward in your business. So whenever you don't know something, I always start with Google. Google the question, how do I get clients? What should I charge? How should I structure my business? How do I package my pricing, or how do I price my packages the other way too? All of the things that you need to know in your business. How do I close a sale? How do I meet business owners when I'm an introvert? There are so many things that we can struggle with as business owners. But when you know where you want to go, you just need to find out the steps you need to take to get there. It doesn't mean that you have to know how to do all the steps. It doesn't mean that you can't get support. And in fact, I think it's really important that you do get support. But in order to create a plan of what you're going to do and how you're going to get to that thing that you want, it's really important to understand the steps you need to take to get there. And so if you don't know those things, that's the next thing you need to do. That's absolutely the next thing to do, is make sure that you are educating yourself and learning what you don't know and putting those steps together. And then from there, you develop your plan. What kind of timeline are you working on? How much can you do on a daily basis to get yourself to where you want to go? I think one of the things about goal setting, and we'll talk about that in a later episode, is that we set really high goals and lofty goals, and we don't give ourselves enough time to do it. So what makes sense for you with your schedule? How can you logically make the progression of that goal more comfortable for you? If all of a sudden you're looking for clients and you decide that you're going to reach out to 10 or 15 people every single day, and you're inundated with follow-up as a result of that, or you're not really doing a good job of making good connections with people because you are rushing it and you're trying to do too much, I always say pare it down as much as you can. Make your steps, your daily steps, the smallest that you can possibly make them, so that you can actually achieve them. And you're going to see the progress. Maybe it'll take you a week longer to get to where you want to go. But if you're working at it every single day and that is your focus, you're going to get there. You need to be able to get the support you need to start moving. There's nothing that says as a business owner that we need to do things by ourselves. We're solopreneurs. Yes, we work by ourselves and we, are the only person in our business, but it doesn't mean that you need to be alone. We have an incredible community of virtual assistants that, is a wonderful community to help you get the things done that you need to get done. And there's always somebody who's been where you are or is now where you want to go. And those are the people that you want to be able to draw on and get some support and help and advice and information from them, because our nature as VAs is very supportive. Obviously, we're support professionals, and we want to make sure that we are giving a hand up to those people that we're going ahead of, And so it is really important to get that support that you need, because it's essential to start moving. One of the things I see virtual assistants do often is get really stuck in research phases. And I've been guilty of it too. I make notes and notes and notes, and sometimes don't get anything done. And it feels like we're getting a lot done because we're planning and we're putting our details together, and we're getting even more research and feeling really good about what is going to happen. But the comfort zone piece is actually taking that first step, even when it's hard. So what do you need to do in order to make yourself feel better about actually taking those steps? The very first thing you have to do is believe in yourself. I believe in you. Absolutely do. And I will tell you, if you can get others to support you, that will help your mindset as well. And so what do I suggest whenever you are taking a big step or making some steps towards something that you really want, whatever that goal is to tell people about it. Tell somebody else. You don't have to announce it on your Facebook page to your family and friends who may not understand or may just sort of pat you on the back and support you. But talk to another VA, talk to me, talk to, anybody who's in your community or your audience who can who is able to support you. It's really important that your belief in yourself, it is the very first thing that you need to do. You need to convince yourself that you can do whatever that thing is, before you can convince anybody else. And the word convince is not always my favorite, but it is really important because I think, when we are looking to do better business, it is about being skilled at it and practicing it and actually doing it. And we need that kind of support. We need it all the time. You want to change your daily routine. One of the things that I've learned a lot about lately is about systems and processes as opposed to habits and routines. And if you've heard me talk before, I talk a lot about habits and routines because I use them routinely, haha, in my business. And so I just know that when I go from one thing to another, I'm more efficient. I can get more things done. I know that I'm doing something, following a checklist that helps me not miss any steps of the things that I'm doing, those types of things. And that's really important with routines. But if systems and processes are better for you, and I'll talk about that a lot more in another episode, but if systems and processes are what you need, then you need to map it out. If you're going to start networking with a lot of people because you're looking to get some clients, then you need a system to do that, or you need a routine to do that. And I'll just actually talk about systems or routines sort of interchangeably, even though they're not. And like I say, I'll cover that on another episode, just so you have to come back. But you want to be able to change that up, and you want to make sure that whatever you were doing to get you the results that you are getting right now, it's not working for you. So it really is necessary to change it up. And so you want to be able to put together a detailed process list or routine list that you follow, and just make that your new normal, make that your new habit. You want to learn what you don't know. You'll hear me say this a lot. And if you've heard me do any training before, I'm sure you've probably heard me say it many times before. So you want to learn what you don't know. It's so important to get out of that research and actually put what you're learning into practice. Learn the things that are important for you to make the decisions or make the progress that you're looking to learn right now. You need to help people every day, especially when we're talking about getting clients and getting revenue into our business and all that kind of thing. We want to look at it as helping people, not as making sales. Making sales is a really challenging thing for a lot of us. We're introverts as virtual assistants. We've always been in the background just doing the work, and the sales piece of owning a VA business is often the thing that sort of paralyzes us, and it makes us feel like we have to be really, like old, like used car salesmen, and we don't. It's about helping people. If you can help people every single day, that's really why a lot of us are in business, or in the type of business that we're in. So it's very important for you to go into every conversation that you have with that in mind, that you are helping people and that they will want to work with you, because that is where that's exactly what they need. Is they need your help, and they'll understand that. You want to be able to face those fears, but get help. If you are anxious about having business conversations, get some help to learn how to do it better. If you're anxious about talking about your rate with people because you are not sure how to get through that conversation, or you've had objections raised in your sales conversations before, get some help with that. Whatever it is that you don't do well, get someone to help you with it and learn how to do it better. You need to get yourself out there. Absolutely, you cannot sit behind your computer and expect to build your business, whether that's getting clients, or whether that is learning something new and implementing a new service, whether that is, well, I mean, really, clients and money are the most important thing in our business, aren't they? But getting yourself out there is going to get you the best clients. If you are struggling right now because you have sort of lousy clients who don't pay that well, or don't pay on time, or anything like that, then your number one focus should be getting better clients. There are so many people using virtual assistants right now and in dire need of really good virtual assistants. So you need to make yourself what? A ridiculously good virtual assistant. And then you need to get yourself out there and get in front of those people. One step at a time. It's all about baby steps. And it's really important to take daily actions to move towards what it is that you want to do in your business. In terms of your actual comfort zone, what is it that you are afraid of? This is the interesting thing to me, right? There's something that stops us. We don't know what it is often until we dig a little bit deeper. But when you discover what it is, what could possibly go wrong, right? What is something that is holding you back? Is it that you are afraid to walk up and introduce yourself to someone? Why is that? How does that make you feel? And are you afraid of saying the wrong thing? You don't know what to say. Do you not like the sound of your voice? I know that's a big thing with a lot of us. Do you not like the way you look? What is it? You need to dig deeper. If you don't want to walk up and introduce yourself to people, or if you don't want to reach out on, LinkedIn or some other social media and talk to people, why? Why is that? Ask yourself why and answer the questions all the way through. Because I think I'll say the wrong thing, because I'm afraid they'll say no. Just really look at those things and then expand on them and figure out what is the worst thing that can happen. The worst thing that can happen is that a person can say no. But the best thing that can happen is a person can say yes. And in every single situation, every single conversation that you have, you're either going to get a client or you're not. But what happens if you don't get the client? If you don't get the client, you're building a relationship. And that's what we really want to really reinforce every time we talk about building your business, getting clients, networking, all of those things that may be scary to you. We just want to talk about those things and sort of make them smaller, make the fear smaller. And that's what I want you to be able to do. Think about is what it is that you do well. Why do you do it? Why do you do it so well? And how can you do that same thing for that thing that you fear? If you are really good at organizing people, for example, I know a lot of VAs who are excellent at organization and details. Everybody is so proud to say they're detail oriented. If you're really good at that, how did you become good at that? And how can you make those same steps or make those same strides for the thing that right now you fear? I would bet that part of it is doing it, right? And so if you need help because you're feeling anxious about it, then get that help. And oftentimes, my private coaching clients go through a lot of uncomfortable stuff. But that's why they get my help, because they ask for advice, they take action, and it works. And sometimes it doesn't work. So then we change the tactic and we move forward. But they're confidently moving forward because they have me in their corner. And that's what you need. Not me particularly. You can private coach with me, of course, but you need people in your corner who can help you decipher the things that are going wrong and make those changes, or give you the pats on the back whenever things are going right and encourage you to move forward. It's really important. When you start to walk the path, you may have to push a little bit. That is true. It's, we call it getting out of our comfort zone for a reason. It is a zone. And when you're moving from zone to zone, people, you do sometimes have to push, but it will end up pulling you when you start to move. It's a really cool thing, actually, because the better you get at something, the more confident you sound and feel. And there's an interesting thing that happens whenever I'm on a consultation or a coaching call with a virtual assistant, that we struggle through the pieces of the things that are hard. And sometimes we are not able to articulate those things very well. But as soon as I start to ask the VA something about something that they're good at, their body relaxes. They provide so much more detail. They just sound so much more confident. And I often, when I'm providing my recordings back to my clients, I often say to them, listen around the 2-minute mark where your voice changed completely. You want to get to that point where the things that were difficult become easier, like all those things that you are really good at doing now. The first time you did them, they might have been challenging. You just persevere. And then you move on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. The momentum will come, especially when you start to get good at something and you realize that it's not as difficult as you thought it was. It was the anxiety of actually doing that thing that was really the thing that was weighing you down. The last piece that I want to talk about is just about being around people who are doing what you want to do. It's a wonderful place to be with our colleagues. They make us feel good. We are all kind of in the trenches together and we are moving through things. And that's terrific. I think there's 100% necessity to be in a community with your colleagues. To be in a couple of communities is totally fine. I run a community. Actually, I run a couple of communities for virtual assistants. And so I'm very pleased to be able to provide those beautiful places for virtual assistants to connect with each other. But what also can end up happening is we can sort of commiserate there. And that's one of the things that is a real struggle, is we let things get personal sometimes with clients, or we get down because something is not going our way. We're not finding great clients. We're getting beaten out on jobs, or we have difficulties with clients who maybe don't respect us or have the value behind us that we need them to have in order to run a successful and profitable business, right? We work for free. We work cheap. We wait for people to pay us. We let them give us, they just keep heaping on the work. There are so many things that clients can do that we don't like. And instead of just having a simple business conversation with the client, we come to the VAs in our community and we drag everybody down because everybody is sympathetic, but it doesn't move us forward. So, what do we need to do? We need to be able to talk to clients and be in charge and not be the assistant, even though that is our job title. We don't need to be the assistant. We need to actually take charge of our own business and tell the client how things work. And again, I'll cover this in much more detail on another episode. But I want you to be around people who are doing what you want to do. I want you to surround yourself with successful VAs. I want you to be able to have conversations with people who are doing things well. And I want you to be able to share what is going well for you. It's totally fine to share your problems, but it's another thing, I guess, right after the share. What I want you to do is I want you to move yourself out of it. I want you to make that push so that you are moving in the right direction of that thing that you really want. I'm going to leave it here for today because I think I could probably talk about comfort zone and all of that kind of stuff all day, but I would like to keep these to about 20 minutes for you, and we are there. And so I'm going to leave it right there for now. But think about all the things we talked about. Think about what happens when you feel uncomfortable. Think about the things that you need to do to help yourself move forward. Remember to believe in yourself and to start there and start to get others to believe in you as well. And think about that thing. Think about whatever it is that you are having a struggle with. You want to be able to identify, why do you have that fear? And how can you move through it? What is the actual fear so that you can flip your mindset around it? I think that that is one of the most difficult things to do as a VA. And I think that a lot of times we just sort of sit because we don't really know how to move out of what it is we're doing. So I hope I gave you some tips today on how to do that and little simple things that you can do. Most often, I think it's about talking to somebody else. I really do. I think if you can have a business conversation with someone and you're able to talk to them about what you're struggling with and ask them how they got out of it and use those ideas and try to get yourself out of it as well, and just so that you are always moving forward. I think it's really important. So that's all I have for you today, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Ridiculously Good VA Show. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. For more great resources for your VA business, visit my website at yourvamentor.com. I'll see you back here next time.